tomorrow. To this now, the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, and the Reserve Bank Governor, Lesetja Kganyago, are about to brief the members of the media in Cape Town following the B20 and G20 finance track meetings. Let's take you live there.
Good afternoon. I'm greeting all of you. You seem not to be in a good mood. You don't seem to be in a good mood. What we wanted to do is quickly tell you about, in a paragraph or two, about the outcome of the G20 discussion and allow you to ask whatever questions you want to about the G20, not about anything else. Kopano, I'm in a closed period. So, okay. During the last 4 days, the deputies, finance ministers, and central bank governors held very constructive discussions. We considered and discussed the work program of the finance track working groups, the financial sector, the Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, international taxation, and the Joint Finance and Health Task Force. Most members endorsed the work of the program, which provides the basis for the presidency to work with co-chairs in partnership with international organizations to implement the work program for the year. The deputies had a very robust discussion on various components of what is called the chair's summary. The South African president has been keen to use every opportunity to forge consensus as far as possible, though it also respects and acknowledges that differences remain. Consequently, we will issue a chair's summary based very much on the version we have discussed extensively and refined in the past few days. That's the key thing we will be issuing, that chair's summary, which summarizes some of those issues. If you don't have it by now, we have issued the chair's summary. Governor, you want to add?
No, except just to say that the chair's summary covers all the topics that we discussed over the past 2 days. So we can take questions, and you just raise your hand, identify yourself, and say the media house that you are affiliated with, and we would take your questions. Right here in front. The microphones moved.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's Vitaly Mark from Tels News Agency. The question for the minister. What was the issue that you are more satisfied that it was breakthrough? And opposite, what is the issue that you think is lack of the progress? Thank you.
Colleagues, can I just ask, if you've got a question, you can come to the side of the podium so that we...
In the meantime, let me ask one. I'm most satisfied with the fact that the work program has been agreed and adopted. You must understand how the G20 works. This is an initial first meeting of the ministers of central and finance ministers and central bankers. And for that reason, we have been working hard on getting a work program which will form the basis of the discussions of the future meetings. To that extent, I'm happy with progress. I'm not happy with the fact that we couldn't achieve a consensus and issue a communique. So I think I've answered both your questions in that respect.
Hello, this is Lamise Umerji from News 24. I would like to find out if you can share more on what the process has been like without top officials from the US, Brazil, China, India, and Japan. Do you think this has played a role in affecting the outcomes?
It has not played a role initially. I don't know when you say top officials from these countries. Let me just give an indication. I mean, from the USA, Scott Bissett, the Secretary Treasurer, sent a note verbal that he is coming. All of a sudden, the President of the United States called his first budget meeting, his first cabinet meeting yesterday. And therefore, Scott had, as a result, to attend the first meeting. The Brazilian, the top officials, the international deputy minister, which normally attends most of this meeting, was here. Similar process with the Chinese international minister, the vice minister, who normally attends, they were here. So there were top officials from those two countries.
Shall we say that almost all of the governors were there? All central banks were represented. To the extent that there wasn't a governor, there would have been a deputy governor with full delegated authority. There was no flag that was empty. Every country was represented.
Hilary goes to the mark.
Hilary Jaffe from Business Day. In the communique, right at the end of the Brazilian presidency, the final track talked about good prospects of a soft landing of the global economy. So that was in October. In your communique now, you're not talking about any soft landing. You are talking about subdued growth, but economies are resilient. So how concerned are you about how sort of rapidly, in a sense, the outlook seems to have changed between October and now, and what has changed that outlook?
We do not have a communique. We have got a chair statement at the moment. So just so that it becomes clear. There are lots of things that has changed. You would have seen that both the IMF, the World Bank, and even the OECD revised their growth forecast. In our case in South Africa, we also did revise our growth forecast since then. Lots of things have changed. There is heightened uncertainty in the global economy, and you would have realized that in many instances, central banks present a baseline forecast and also present scenarios. A presentation of the alternative scenarios is taking account of the fact that there is so much uncertainty. And here at home, it has been a tradition for our Treasury to also release a risk statement as part of the budget, and that's how you manage the uncertainty.
Okay.
All right, well, those were live proceedings from Cape Town at the back of the B20 and G20 finance track meeting. And that was, of course, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana alongside Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago answering questions to members of the media. Now, as you know, calls for financial mechanisms to prevent natural disasters as well as the escalating borrowing debt is slowly plunging the country into a negative position. And this is one of the platforms that our principals are pushing ahead for those necessary reforms in this regard. I think also worthy to note the former African heads of states, they're pushing for an African debt relief program to address this very issue of spending and borrowing in order to sustain our day-to-day needs. A move we are told is actually not sustainable.